Okay, we are live. Hey, 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 happy holidays, everyone. So, yeah, it's been a little while since I've done a stream here on the channel. I think it's been like 3 weeks now, something like that. Which is, usually we do at least one or two streams here a week on the channel, but yeah, just haven't really had the motivation to do many streams lately. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and kick off the month of December here with 35 years of Maniac Cop Part 2. Yes, we have a sequel on the channel. I know we don't focus on many sequels here on the channel, but I think this is one of the rare instances where you have a sequel and well, it's a trilogy. It's not really a franchise, but I think this is one of the rare times where the sequel is better than the original. And, not really by it, a whole lot really, but yeah, with Maniac Cop 2, we have a horror action movie from 1990 here, directed by William Lustig. And I think when you compare this to the original 1988 Maniac Cop movie that features Tom Atkins as a police officer, detective, something like that, I just think it's really the action sequences, the stunts, and how they're executed, and on top of that, even the small serial killer element that you have in this too, when Maniac Cop kind of teams up with the serial killer and everything. But it seems like whenever Maniac Cop is brought up in discussions, it seems like everybody really is on the same page with agreeing that Maniac Cop 2 is just a little bit more enjoyable than the original one. But yeah, the third movie, is what it is. Unfortunately, William Lustig had to walk away from that project, like, right in the middle of it. I forget exactly all the details on that, but I know that's all available on the Blue Underground disc for part 3 and the interviews and the features and stuff, but yeah, with part 3, it definitely shows, I think the movie has a strong start to it, really. Even with, Jackie Earl Haley as, like, a demented drug addict in that movie. I think he's actually very fun to watch, but I know a lot of people don't like the 3rd movie. I don't watch it often, but when I do, it's just one of those movies I just can't take seriously, but I find it very enjoyable on a laughable level. It's Jackie Earl Haley is the crazy drug addict and everything. You get a lot of familiar genre faces in that. You even have Robert Forster as I think he's like a crooked doctor in that or something like that, but I don't remember all the details. But I think one of my favorite parts in Maniac Cop 3 is when towards the end when Maniac Cop, I think he explodes, and one of the I think it's Robert Davi who comes back for that, playing the police officer. He goes to light his cigarette with Maniac Cop's burning arm. I just that scene cracks me the fuck up, but yeah. But yeah, so we have the Look movie link is pinned at the top. That's the best place for free to watch the movie. And I believe this movie's around an hour 27 or 28 minutes, so we should be here for about 2 hours tonight. And we'll get to the chat and everything, and yeah, we'll get to the chat here in just a moment. But just to go over what is scheduled right now, I know to start the month, I was going to do the 10th anniversary for Krampus. I just wasn't really in the mood to be doing any streams at that time, so I just passed up on that. But I believe the next one after this will be Monday, December 15th. We have the 30th anniversary for Michael Mann's 1995 action hit, Eat, which is really up there as one of my favorite movies from the 90s, that's for sure. So that'll be yeah, it's like a 3-hour movie too, so that'll be quite a long stream. And all right. Yeah, we also have Deadly Games, the 1989 horror Christmas movie. Deadly Games Dial Code Santa Claus. That'll be on the 19th. That could be moved though on that day. I could end up moving that to another day on that weekend coming up, which is the following weekend. So that's what's next after Heat. And then another favorite of mine from the 90s, which will be on December 29th, will be another 30th anniversary for 12 Monkeys. So those are in place right now. So I'm going to shoot for getting those streams done. There's a possibility that I might try to set something up on Christmas Eve. Might actually try to do something that isn't very long, but we might do the final episode from Tales from the Crypt from the first season. It's episode 6 and All Through the House with Larry Drake as the crazed psychopath in a Santa suit. So that's something I wanted to do last year. I didn't get around to that for certain reasons. Thank God that person's not in the picture anymore to get in the way of things. Sure, you're probably lurking, as you always do, because you got nothing else better to do but over obsess over people on YouTube. Right, and it's just your nature there. But let's get to the chat. Say hello to people. All right, we got George is here, the Sailor Outlaw. What's up there, George? Hello, everyone. Hello, Sean. Yeah, good to see you here, George. Hopefully all is well with you. And we got Stacy's here too. Acres of Movies. What's up, Stacy? Yeah, I watched this at a sleepover. Okay. It must have been very thrilling. Must have been at probably a bit of a younger age for you, but I can't really recall the first time I seen these movies. I just know I didn't see the third one until that's all over here. I didn't see the third one until Blue Underground released these on Blu-ray. I know Cinephile Films has the rights to the first movie here, the 1988 slasher. And yeah, but Blue Underground released part 2 and 3. So it's definitely my favorite of this trilogy is the one that we're watching here tonight. But yeah, I didn't see part 3, Badge of Silence, until these were available on Blu-ray. I know this was available on VHS, but I know I didn't really see these movies until I got a little bit older, like somewhere in like high school years, somewhere around there, something like that. But yeah, that's at a sleepover. It's like whenever I think of like doing stuff like that at a young age, it was always like like the Evil Dead trilogy, like movies like that, like Return of the Living Dead. Just like horror classics like that, called classics, and horror comedies really seemed like those were always the enjoyable movies to watch in a group setting. But Maniac Cop movies definitely fall into that category, if you ask me. And yeah, I finally got a new cell phone here. So the video quality looks a little bit better this time. Yeah. Yeah, hello to you too, Stacy. Thank you also. Yeah, thank you, also, yeah, thank you, for just being very supportive and yeah, and all that. So it's and all the thought-provoking questions, even though sometimes I might not be able to answer them like right away and directly, but like you always get me, to stop and think and really try to analyze things and give you a straightforward answer. So that's just like definitely one of the things I enjoy about interacting with you. And we got Greg is here, Greg Brewer. What's up, Greg? Good to see you here. Hopefully all is well with you too, man. Happy holidays. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Stacy's saying, "Do you like First Power?" I know the movie. I can see the poster art, but that's a movie I haven't seen in a long time. I would say, yeah, I got to be leaning towards the yes side of that to answer that. But that's a movie I really want to go back and see again, which will probably make me like, if I get off of here and I'm thinking of it, I'll actually see if there's like a physical copy available. But like speaking of physical media and all that, like I did take advantage of some of the online Black Friday sales. I didn't buy a whole lot. I think I bought around maybe like 7 or 8 titles, but thank God I saw on, Instagram that Orbit DVD got in a shitload of the Night of the Living Dead remake 4K steelbook. They got in some copies because I was like, looking at the Amazon link on that, and I'm like, "Ah, I'll wait till the price drops." The price never dropped, and then it sold out, and I was like, "Fuck, I think I missed out on this completely." But yeah, Orbit DVD, I saw on Instagram that they uploaded a picture. They had all stacks of them in their possession. I was like, "Fuck, I gotta get on there and take advantage of the second pressing here. I can't miss out on this." So that's like, one thing I'm just really glad is take a sigh of relief with that. Like, fuck, man. Because like, another thing is with that 1990 Night of the Living Dead remake with that new release, that the movie is coming completely uncut this time. I only have I had the Twilight Time Blu-ray, which does have like some color timing issues on it. Or apparently Tom Savini was like, this movie was meant to see in like darker. I forget what it is. I just know the print is very dimly lit, kind of hard to see some scenes. I didn't think it was bad as what some people were making it out to be when that was like, relevant still, even when Twilight Time was still around with their bullshit 3,000 limited edition copies and all that crap. But that's I would imagine that's another reason why Twilight Time is not around anymore. Yeah, Greg is saying, I've seen Maniac Cop 1 and 2, but not 3. Yeah, Greg, I would recommend seeing it if your curiosity is really sparked. It's available on Look Movie. You can watch it on there for free. But, you can't really expect too much out of it. I feel like the first, like, 20, 25 minutes of it's, some enjoyable horror action, but you can kinda see where the movie takes a shift, and it probably is right where, William Lustig walked off of the project and shit, so but I would recommend it on a non-serious level. Yeah, that's right, Robert rest in peace to Robert Zadar, who plays the Maniac Cop, man. Yeah, he's not with us anymore. And I know, what's his name passed away. I saw that last night at 60 years old, Peter Green, who played, the demented serial killer Zed in Pulp Fiction, and I know he was in, the hell's the name of that movie? Emilio Estevez, Jeremy Piven, the action movie, Dennis Leary. I can't remember the name of it. Judgment Night, that's it. Yeah, he was in Judgment Night, which is like I really think one of the first times I remember seeing Peter Green and, like, having his face, like, burned into my memory card, just yeah, but, it's that you guys are all familiar with familiar genre faces with actors, so, let's pull up a picture of Peter Green real quick. But apparently, I think his manager went to his place in New York and found him dead, and then the police and paramedics showed up and confirmed it. 60 years old, it's a little too short, man. Just in case, I'm usually better with faces. Like I see a face once, I don't forget it. But I'm bad with names. So let's pull up a picture here of Peter Green. It's a shame, man. God knows what happened to him. I don't know. I don't think he was someone who had like issues with drugs or anything. Or yes, it's fucking up. Yes, that's Peter Green right there, but yeah, apparently passed away on the 12th last night, so it's very, very unfortunate to hear that. I always liked him, man. He was a really good villain when you seen him on screen. Very convincing guy. But, that just reminded me there when you said that, Greg, about, Robert Zadar, rest in peace. Right away, it just popped in my head that Peter Green passed away last night. And we got Sue is here. Sue and Joe from the Bud Files. Hello there, Sue. Hopefully everything's going well with you and the family. I know I haven't been over your channel there. I gotta get back over to your channel, visit some of your lives soon, but happy holidays to you and the family. And, thank you, as usual for always supporting the channel here too. We'll be 15 minutes into this. So yeah, we'll probably get this kicked off and started about the usual time, maybe in about 10 minutes from now, something like that. And yeah, Greg saying that yeah, he caught the original or Maniac Cop 1 and 2 on HBO back then. No, I didn't have HBO until later on in my life when I was actually paying for it out of my own damn pocket. But growing up from Philadelphia and being a Flyers fan in my household, we always had Prism because that was the only way to watch Flyers games. And my dad was like, I'm not missing a fucking game. So we used, growing up for like premium movie channels, it was always just really Prism in our household. And yeah. So I didn't really have the experience of HBO and Cinemax and all that really until my high school years, but I had plenty of friends. I would go over their houses and they would have HBO and we would take, advantage of that, even Skinemax and all that shit. So, but yeah, here in PA tomorrow, man, like it's already kicked off. It's starting to snow a little bit here, but apparently we're supposed to be getting 5 inches of snow here tomorrow. I mean, I like snow, pretty much about like I'd say about this time of year, but like once I don't know, I feel like once it's when you're getting hammered and slammed with it in like February and March, yeah, that shit gets played out quick, man. Really. Wears out on your shoulders and your back with all that shoveling, so but we got Russell's here, Russell Collier. What's up, Russell? My fellow Canadian. What's up, man? Good to hear from you. Lou Diamond Phillips. Yes, Lou Diamond Phillips. I really like just like thinking on that, like right now. I think like the first thing I ever saw him in was probably La Bamba. Cause like remember catching that on TV as a kid and everything. I think that was like the first movie I ever saw him in. I just, as soon as you said that, it was like something that just like kind of popped in my head there. And we got Anthony Chobits here. Anthony he's got a dog now. And I saw the pictures of you and the dog, man. That's good to see. I think you named the dog Christmas Chabot, but but yeah, very, very cute dog, adorable looking dog and everything. So but yeah, now you got a bigger responsibility in your life there, I don't know how big that dog's gonna grow, but if the dog stays about that size, then I think you'll have a more easier time. I feel like bigger dogs are just a lot more to keep up with. Like I have a Yorkie that's 5 years old that weighs between 9 and 10 pounds. She's just very easy to take care of. And I'd say probably like the only like slightly irritating things, well, it's yeah, very, very slightly is she never wants to leave my side. And like if I leave the house for like a couple hours, she's going ape shit, barking, tearing shit up. But like sometimes it can be like, what the fuck? Like, but more times than often, it's really not a problem at all. But hopefully everything works out for you and the dog there, Anthony. And Russell's saying, yeah, Rambo First Blood, I guess with Tom Hardy. I didn't read any news on that. I don't know if that's like legit news there that's being passed along, but I mean, I like Tom Hardy. I when he was breaking in as an actor, I didn't really care for him that much. I think the first thing I remember really seeing him in was like Band of Brothers or maybe Black Hawk Down. At that time in those early 2000s, I didn't really, like care for him as an actor that much, but over the years and, him getting more leading roles and stuff, just he really grew on me as an actor. I know he's a method actor, can kinda be a problem for other actors in some ways or something like that, but, if that's what he's gotta do to get the job done, then so be it, but yeah, lot of things I've seen him in over the years. It's really made him grow on me as a, with him being an actor and everything. But I could get down with Tom Hardy, I think, playing Rambo. I don't know. I just wish they would leave these classic franchises the fuck alone already. I also saw apparently a new Exorcist movie with Scarlett Johansson. Maybe she takes her butt off in it, so who knows? But I don't know. Uh, don't care, man. Do something original, everybody. Leave these classic franchises alone. And yeah, Anthony's saying it right now. Yeah, Christmas is sleeping. Yeah. Yeah, dogs at the young ages like that, they're definitely going to be sleeping a lot. That's for sure. But yeah, Russell saying, yeah, I love Judgment Night with Dennis Leary. I remember actually when that was released in 1993 on VHS, I had to beg my mom to let me rent that. And I was like trying to like make it appealing or like to a point where I was like, like it's okay because Emilio Estevez is in it, like she like knew him from like Mighty Ducks and stuff. And so like the more I like got on my mom about it, she was like, okay, like you can rent that. Because I was only like 10 years old when Judgment Night came out. And like, it's maybe that movie has like minor horror elements in it. It's more of like an action thriller. But that movie kind of scared me in a way, and like seeing that at a young age, it really did. But yeah, that's a great fucking 90s cult classic right there, Judgment Night. But I really think that's like one of the first times I saw Peter Green in a movie and have his performance strike me in a way to where, like I'm gonna remember this guy's face forever now. Even Everlast from House of Pain, I know he's like even with like Dennis Leary and Peter Green and those goons, trying to kill the other guys going to the boxing event and all that. But yeah, it's 60 years old, man. It's just guess we'll wait and see what happened to him if that news ever comes out. But yeah, Anthony said I didn't have HBO until the early 90s. I think it was really late 90s for me, actually. Because I think I was going into high school about like 97, 98. I graduated 2001. So I think it was about like 98, 99, like when I officially had HBO. And the last time I had HBO though was when Game of Thrones was still active. I was such a, I was so into that show when it was around for those 8 seasons. I was like, fuck. Like every time I think Game of Thrones would always kick up and start around like April. So that's when I would be like, I gotta renew my HBO now because I can't miss this show and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't have HBO anymore. I don't pay for anything anymore. The only thing I pay for is physical media. I don't pay for nothing else. Like if I can't own it, fuck out of here with that shit, man. I used to watch Skinamax. I think we all did. Oh crap! Ooh, almost hit a wrong button there. All right, gotta make sure I'm not accidentally blocking people or banning people from the stream or anything. But yeah, Russell's saying, yeah, I love Tom Hardy and Bronson. Right? Yeah, Bronson's a good one. I only seen it one time, but that is a good one. Legend, playing the Cray brothers with Shia LaBeouf, whatever his fucking name is, but whatever you want to call it, or Law. Maybe that was Lawless. I forget. It's Legend or Lawless, one of those two. But Tom Hardy was really good. As a supporting actor in The Revenant, but with Leonardo DiCaprio, it's really good in that. Actually, I think one of his most underrated things I've seen him in, which apparently him and his father were the ones that actually got this up and going. Where is it at? And it was only around for one season. Over the years, you might hear talk of like, oh, they're going to revive it and get a second season going. But This, I think, was just criminally underrated when it came out in, like, 2017. Yeah, 2017, and it aired on the FX network, is Taboo. This is really fucking good. It's like a time period drama with supernatural elements in it. It's like Tom Hardy is like, grows up in London. And everyone in society really hates him and his family because they're just unusual people, I guess you could say. And he decides to leave London, goes to Africa, lives with a tribe of people. And when he comes back to London, he's just someone who's practiced a lot of taboo things and has dabbled with the supernatural and all these ghostly kind of things, just unusual things. But he is fucking scary in this, man. I'm telling you, you gotta give this a watch. I think it's only like 8 episodes. I think each episode's about an hour long. That's another thing, you'll definitely notice some familiar faces in this. Classic actor Jonathan Pryce, who I believe is still alive with us today. I think he might be in his 80s at this point, but he's in this. A lot you'll if you give this a chance, you'll definitely notice some familiar faces in it. But telling you, you want to see Tom Hardy in something very good, very underrated, give Taboo the series season one. Give this a watch. Yeah, I know there's some glare on that's him on the front artwork there. Actually found this at the Dollar Tree back when the movies were still 99 cents. But yeah, it just seems like this show went over a lot of people's heads. I watched it when it aired because the trailer really sparked my interest, and I was just like, "Holy shit!" Like Tom Hardy really very transformed in this. But yeah, highly recommend that. That was a very unexpected series right there. I must have actually, with owning that now, I think I've probably watched that series at least 3 times over at this point. Yeah, very, very good one. Alright, we're already 27 minutes into this, so let's get the show on the road. Yeah, let's get the show on the motherfucking road here. Alright, getting everything set up. So, yeah, anyone who's joining in, look, movie link is pinned at the top there. You want to get yourself ready and going, I will give you guys about a minute here to get yourself situated. I can't remember the last time I actually watched any of these movies, but actually, like the original Maniac Cop, you could. Oh, I wouldn't say it's a St. Patrick's Day movie, but you can technically watch that movie around that time because of the fact that there is a St. Patrick's Day parade in it. And on top of that, Maniac Cop 2 is technically an unofficial Christmas movie because you can tell that in the background of a lot of scenes throughout it, there's Christmas decorations. I think there's even a scene with Bruce Campbell at his desk at one point with like a Christmas tree, like over to like the left or the right of him. So yeah, I think, it's very appropriate to be watching Maniac Cop 2 right now, even though its release date is today, December 13th, 1990, which is making it officially 35 years old now. But just those small elements right there, I think, is enough to, warrant it as a Christmas movie or to, make it appropriate to watch during this time of year. But yeah, I know sometimes people, just because they've seen a Christmas tree in the background of like one scene, like that's enough for people to be like, it's a Christmas movie. Like, not exactly, but that's what does it for you, makes it official, then fuck it. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. All right, we'll get back to we'll take a look at a couple more comments, then we'll get a 10-1 going here. Oh, okay, yeah, Russell Sam was an AI trailer, Tom Hardy as Rambo. I bet that I'd like to check that out, actually. I'll have to see if I can remember that to search that on here. And, yeah, Russell's also saying that real Bronson escaped from 200 prisons. I actually seeing that movie, Bronson, I didn't really have any knowledge of the real life person. So I do need to like actually sit down and try to watch a documentary on him so I could be a little bit more informed on the real life person. But, word of mouth and people mentioning that movie is what made me watch it, and, I probably would make a lot more sense for me to see, like, some kinda documentary on Bronson himself, so I could probably understand the movie a bit more and probably even enjoy it more, like it more. Yeah, it's Stacy saying, "Should we make hats for 976 Evil?" Shit, I'd wear a 976 Evil hat. I like the original one, it's Robert Englund's debut as a director. I thought he did fairly good, and maybe people give that movie a lot of shit for what it is, but it's a fun little movie. Does something different too, you have horror elements taking over the telephone lines, the 900 numbers that were popular in the late '80s going into the '90s there. I remember the sequel not being very enjoyable for me, really, but, you know, pretty much why I'm not a big sequel person either. Yeah, Stacy's saying, hello and thank you to Russell. Very sad for Peter Green. It really is. It was like the first thing I looked at was like, wait, man, isn't that dude like maybe in his 50s? And like I saw like, in the article I was looking at was like 60 years old. Damn. So yeah, who knows what happened to him? But all right, so Russell, you have seen the Taboo series. That's good, man. I was very surprised by that, man. It's to me so much rewatchable value to it too. That's just that one single season. So yeah, Russell agrees that Maniac Cop 2 is a Christmas film. It's I feel like there's enough there to make that happen. Yeah, definitely with Die Hard. I know Bruce Willis will never, agree with the fact that it's a Christmas movie. That and the second Die Hard movie. I haven't even watched them yet this season, but I'll have to get around to that. Maybe Lethal Weapon. I've watched some holiday films already, but yeah, all right, let's get things going here. All right, 32 minutes into this. We're gonna try to keep this at 2 hours. So let's get the show on the road. Now, I know that what the what guess depending on type of person you are, but the movie opens up with recapping how the first movie ends, which I think is wise to do that because sometimes people just don't have access to seeing the first movie of something and to jump into a second movie and not know how the movie led up to this point, I think that's why it's wise sometimes to give a quick couple minute recap of what happened in the first movie in case that is the situation for someone. But all right. So if you guys are good to go, we will do a 10 to 1 here and get things going. Now, even the music in this, the actual score soundtrack and then the soundtrack music that's in it, the rap music, I mean, at this time, like 1990, that's when all that stuff was really coming up and getting popular. So different style of rap music you don't hear anymore either. But yeah. All right. All right. If you guys are good to go, we'll do a 10 to 1 and we'll have a good time here for a little bit. A little under 90 minutes. So, all right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play, motherfuckers. Yeah, I know the Look movie link too. Like that is the same exact transfer print that you get from the Blue Underground um release. So yeah, the movie opens up with the final act of the first movie. You know what? I'll be right back since we're not we're in a recap here. So just, I'll be back in a few seconds. All right. Yeah, so this is what, like the loading docks, the boat docks here. And what are they using? Like the paddy wagon with Maniac Cop driving it, trying to escape, with Bruce Campbell and his accomplice there trying to stop him. And then that random construction bar goes through the windshield, obstructing the view of the Maniac Cop. And you also have Bruce Campbell there. This stunt's awesome though. And yeah, that paddy wagon drives off the boat dock there, it's twisting the air and goes right into the water. But that stunt guy, man, did a great job jumping off of that thing last second and to go in the water like that. But one thing, I should have took a closer look at that. I couldn't tell if there was actually a stunt driver in that vehicle when it, was already, airborne and going into the water. I don't know if there actually is like clarity on that, but yeah, working through that now. Think we're gonna go into the title card now. Mm. Yeah, this blends into the opening title card now. Yeah, Russell's saying it's so sad about Bruce Willis, such a cool actor. Yeah. It's actually another William Lustig movie that really no one talks about. That kind of has like that maniac element in there. Is a movie called Relentless, which is a '90s, crime thriller. And I know that has some familiar faces in it. I think actually Meg Foster might be in that if I remember. I know I have it on DVD. I think Kino Lorber's upgraded that one, the Blu-ray. I forgot Michael Lerner's in this. And Bruce Campbell. Michael Lerner's one of the guys on the police force, Lauren Landon, which is like the main actress in this, I think. Or Lorraine, I think that might have said. Yeah, Robert Zador is Maniac Cop, Matt Cordell. This is actually, I remember now. That's right. You get Clarence Williams the third in this too. Yeah, he pops up in this. Leo Rossi is the serial killer. But I forgot that this is the one movie too where Maniac Cop briefly talks in this, and I think it's Leo Rossi as the serial killer, like getting on the Maniac Cop shit for like not communicating with him, and he's like, "What's your name, man?" Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, "Cornell." He's like, I just think it's funny when he finally talks. And he just sounds like some kind of like strained out old guy who's like struggling to like get a word. He's like, "Cornell." It's- but thank God they didn't like, have the Maniac Cop like really talking or pulling out some fucking like Freddy Krueger one-liner bullshit. Yeah, yeah, that's right. The theme music and everything's done by Jay Chataway. He pretty much did all the theme music for all of William Lustig's movies, even the original Maniac, the 1980s slasher. Well, now that theme music's fine. That whistle. I get a kick out of that though when the Maniac Cop says his name. Yeah, co-written, co-produced by Larry Cohen, who unfortunately is not with us anymore either. I saw recently that apparently there is like a more modern documentary out there for Larry Cohen. So that's something I'd like to check out sometime soon. I'm sure it's probably available on Look Movie, but I think Scream Factory released a Blu-ray for it. But yeah, now we're gonna move into the opening scene here. Yes. The convenience store robbery open 24 hours. This is very intense too, honestly. Which I feel like in some ways, I wouldn't say that this like rips off what goes on in RoboCop, but it's all right. I wouldn't say it's like following the same like formula scene for scene, but like all right, it's like kind of the same thing that happens in RoboCop, but still provides its own stunts, does things a little bit differently than that. Maniac Cop versus RoboCop. You take your pick, but I mean, I don't know. RoboCop always I always like RoboCop just a little bit more than Maniac Cop. But yeah, this scumbag comes into the store, starts shoplifting. This guy too, like he's one of these genre actors who will play like, he will play the villain or he'll play the cop. And I think he's been on shows like Law and Order too, like those CSI shows. Like I don't watch that stuff, but I know he's also popped up in some later movies. Like he's even in that Jake Gyllenhaal movie, Nightcrawler. What's that movie called again? I have that over there. Yeah, Nightcrawler. Yeah, he's even in that very small role that he has in that. But yeah, now the silent alarm at Julio's bodega has been tripped up. Now the pigs got to throw their food out the window and get there as soon as possible. I need the money. And he's all like shaking and shit. Take the merchandise, anything you want in the store, man. Got a sawed-off shotgun. That's gonna be you all over the walls in a minute. I said, give me the fucking money. Because I don't have the key to the safe. The boss don't come in till 6:30. This guy he wants this guy to make a move. He wants to try making a run for the door, man. He wants to kill someone. He realizes he ain't gonna be able to easily get any money here out of him. So he's like, hey man, why don't we scratch on some lotto tickets, man? Maybe I'll be a winner. I feel lucky. Oh, we'll go through the whole bunch, man. Nothing again. I'm trying my best to do a Latino accent here. So after they're scratching through the whole bunch of tickets here, and finally, one of them comes up here. I think I'm a winner. $5,000. Hey, Dios míos, mira, 5,000 bucks. You won 5,000 bucks, man. But the maniac cop is here to hand out some justice. You have the right to remain silent forever. Shit don't even faze him at all. This store manager is so wrapped up in the lotto ticket with being a winner. And he is not paying attention to the fact that Maniac Cop here he's not here for justice. He's here to take lives, wrong or right. He blows away the store manager. And the scumbag on the floor is looking up like, fuck, I don't have a chance, do I? You just shot the innocent guy. But he hands him the gun and he walks off. Really interesting scene here, right? How this plays out. So yeah, the scumbag criminal runs out the front door. The real cops are showing up now. Hey, scumbag, hold it right there. Put the gun down. But it wasn't me, man. It was one of you. Yeah, try explaining that. Try explaining that to more, level-headed, rational people. But yeah, they end up blowing him away, so now they'll never get the truth out of anyone here. But another cool stunt, once he takes more than like 6 shots to the torso there, he just flies right through the window. But yeah, so it looks like once the police get in there, it looks like, the scumbag criminal blew away the store manager, which Maniac Cop made it out to be that way with handing the gun back to the criminal. Because, I guess Maniac Cop, he's so experienced with that. He's like, if I just hand him the gun, he's going to be himself. He's going to be the scumbag he is. So, yeah, there you go. Take the gun back. I'm getting the fuck out of here. There goes the Christmas tree being decorated. Officer Mallory, which is, yeah, Michael Lerner there. Yeah, there goes this like Christmas element. But yeah, Russ was saying, Sean, I saw a short just now with Tom Hardy talking about Taboo season 2, just waiting for the right time to do it. Yeah, it's been a little frustrating like the past decade. Like here and there you might hear news. I know COVID also fucking put a wedge between that at one point. But, hopefully because apparently Tom Hardy and his dad were like really like the head creators on that. So they were really doing the writing on that. Tom Hardy is obviously playing DeLahey. I think that's his last name in it. I forget his first name in it, but they would always call him like, "Oh, fucking DeLahey." Yeah. But yeah, I just know like that's his name in the shows. His last name's DeLahey. But yeah, like Tom Hardy playing the main character and everything. So he's doing more than just acting on that series. He's putting in a lot of work with that. So, but yeah, just a great time period drama with that series, that first season, and more people need to give that shit a watch. It's the only thing is it's only 8 episodes, about 50 some minutes each. So it's not going to consume a lot of your time. And that finale, that final episode, man, it's a lot of great action in that. But hopefully, yeah, it'd be great if they do get that season 2 kicked off. And I don't want to try to spoil too much, but if you saw the series, you would know that, season 1 ends in London and it's supposed to be time to go to America. So it'd be great to see DeLahey in, old time America. So now this is where Bruce Campbell is Jack Forrest, the police officer, him and his partner. And they're like talking to like this police psychiatrist and everything. Yeah, they're having like an evaluation because, apparently this is all supposed to be like PTSD related stuff with dealing with the Maniac cop from the first movie. Oh, that's a crazy stunt jumping out of a 2-story window like that. Holy shit. And that guy got up again after landing on top of that fucking man. And Robert Davi, he gets inserted into the movie here, blows the guy away. That's crazy. That dude jumped out a 2-story window, landed on his back on top of a van, and he got up like it was nothing. Oh my God. Yeah, Robert Davi as Officer McKinney. I always liked Robert Davi. I know he was in a James Bond movie. I can't remember the title of it, but I know he was in one of those. He's even in Die Hard too. So maybe Robert Davi's not, obviously ain't got the best looks in the world. Obviously has some skin issues on his face and stuff, but I feel like he's perfect for these movies though, man. It's just like I don't know, I get the feeling he just understands what it takes to get these movies executed and accomplished. But, he was definitely someone who popped up in genre movies and also big budget movies. So it was a good blend there throughout his career. So now he's going for his evaluation. You know, McKinney, Robert Davi in this, does his character is the type of person that it's, you don't air out your bullshit to the world. You just don't. He's just one of those old fashioned type of people in this. Yeah, George is saying this movie never fails to disappoint. That's true, man. It has a lot of cool things in it, like car chases. The short I uploaded on my channel, which I think is probably one of the most hilarious scenes in this, is when that cop is giving out the ticket to the rich yuppie asshole because he's parked in like a towing zone, and Maniac cop fucking hits him with the nightstick, cuts him up, kills him, and hooks him up to the fucking tow truck, and he just takes the trash out for the night. It's a good scene, man. Oh, that's I don't know, man. Surprised something like that doesn't pop up more in like horror movies, like inserting like a tow truck. Cause like, well, actually, one that pops off the top of my head, it's just not even an older one, is the Friday the 13th, 2009 reboot with the unsavory character of Trent, which everybody fucking hates. You're supposed to hate that guy. He's a fucking douchebag. But he gets such a good send-off kill. He gets impaled on like some sharp thing on the tow truck, and the tow truck takes off. So to me, like, it's just such an unsavory character in a movie gets such a great send-off like that. It's like, you're supposed to be like happy about that, but it seems like people are always just super turned off by that. Never understood that. So yeah, McKinney did not finish his evaluation there, his psyche evaluation. We get a this scene coming up here is definitely, I would say, one of those drastic 180 degree scenes for the movie. Something that you can really, I don't know. I know first time I saw this, I was like, what? They did this to him already? Like, holy shit. But just one of many surprising moments in this movie, which, referring to what you just said there, George, the movie never fails to disappoint. Maniac cops walking down the street, showing his nightstick skills as he twists and turns that thing around. He's whipping it. And the blind black man, the newspaper salesman. I know I've seen him in so many things, man. Another, cult classic face right there. So yeah, Officer Jack Forrest, Bruce Campbell, he's buying a newspaper at the stand here as the camera is creeping up behind the Maniac cop. And now we see that the Maniac cop, his nightstick's not just a nightstick, it's a short blade nightstick. He just pulls that thing out and he's got a fucking little short blade on it. So Jack Forrest is reading the newspaper, and out of nowhere, he gets knifed up. Knife right in the back, out the fucking front of his chest, man. That's the first time I saw this. I was like, fuck, dude, they killed Jack Forrest that quick. Like, wow, man, I didn't see that coming. But, I think it's a good way to keep the audience on their toes. I don't think anybody could have predicted Bruce Campbell's character getting knocked off this early in the movie. What's that? We're almost 20 minutes in, 1930. It's fairly quick, man, for one of the main characters really to get knocked off like that. But I feel like if you take the time to write that in and you present the other characters that are going to take over from that strongly, you can make that shit work. And in this instance, yes, it works. So now we're at the morgue, Jack's partner there needs to identify the body and everything. Robert Davi, McKinney showing up too. But, McKinney's going to take this personally, knocking off a cop's just not going to sit well with him. And, his Jack's partner, Teresa, McKinney's asking her right now, like, anyone who could remotely have any reason for doing this. And even gets brought up the reason of, maybe them two had some kind of love triangle going on. Maybe she had a motive to do it, which obviously sets her off. But you can see that she doesn't want to mention the Maniac cop for whatever reasons. Yeah, George is saying at least the cop only gave out the citation, not doing other things like walking up to other people wearing no pants. Oh God. Yeah, right. It's yeah. Thank God. And we got Johnny's here. Johnny from the Wild Guys. What's up, Johnny? Hopefully you're doing well. Happy holidays, man. And hey man, cool flick, Bruce Campbell going quick in this one, right? Exactly. I'm sure, like, yeah, like I don't know. I bet you there's like a good portion of people that probably only saw this based on the fact, like, oh, Bruce Campbell's in it. Let's give this a watch. And there's so many people out there that just dick ride the shit out of it. But right, where you could say rightfully so. It's I like Bruce Campbell, you know, but I don't think this is one of his shining moments in the Maniac Cop franchise. I just don't think it really is. He does a better than mediocre job, that's for sure. This is early in his career as an actor anyway, but nah, we'll just leave it at that. Like, I wonder why they couldn't get Tom Atkins back for this. Like, I kind of forget. Does he die in that first one? I can't remember right now. But I wonder why he didn't come back. I mean, if maybe he was working on some other shit at this point. I don't know Tom Atkins' filmography off the back of my hand like that, but I don't know. Maybe maybe contract budget. Maybe it was cheaper to have Robert Davi. Who knows? I don't know. Better turn this up a little bit. It's so weird. Like since I started this stream, the chat keeps saying 0 people, but there's obviously been at least like 10 people in here. Like even at once there was. Like, so, like I can see it like on the tablet down below too. Like that number is already said 10 on there. But now we're coming up to the tow truck scene with the rich yuppie here is getting his summons. Does read your summons, man. Yo, this cop is being a dick though. He's, towing this dude for parking in a fucking no tow zone for like barely a couple minutes. And he's like, you enjoy this, don't you? And he's like, oh, you can afford it? Like, yo, really? You're gonna say that to someone? Yeah, you better start thinking about getting up to Brooklyn early tomorrow to reclaim this beauty. A lot of cars get stripped in our lot. Stereo, the tires, even the whole engine. That's why I wouldn't own a car in this town. Maniac cop shows up, fucks this dude up. Christmas decorations in the background. And he just hooks that fucking, he hooks that cop up to that fucking tow anchor there. And he just rolls the fuck out. And this guy takes his ticket, rips it up, throws it in the air, like, oh, great, Merry Christmas. Yo, this kind of does look like guerrilla filmmaking style here because, like, as that car is driving down the street, like, you can even see, like, pedestrians, like, stopping and, like, looking like, yo, like, what's going on here? Unless, who knows? Maybe that all could have been put in there purposely. But to me, when you have people looking at cameras and looking at things they're not supposed to be looking at in this time period, can come off as guerrilla style filmmaking, no permits in place. Just, all right, everybody in place, gonna roll camera, and we're just gonna fucking record this shit. So now the police psychiatrist here is going to have a one-on-one talk with the black blind newspaper salesman. And this is where he explains losing his eyesight in a war in Sicily, and how he's very familiar with the smell of dead bodies, and how he had to bury himself in dead bodies just to hide himself from the enemy. Now, apparently, when Jack was getting knifed up by the Maniac cop, he briefly touched the Maniac cop's hand, and he could feel how cold his hands were. And he's relaying that and explaining how that made him remember that time when he lost his sight in the war, because he hasn't felt something like that since then. So now the police are going to this rich asshole's house, and they think he killed the cop that was hooked up to the tow truck. Yeah, so now they want him to start, speak up and be honest here about what happened. He's like, it was one of you guys. It's 6'3", maybe even taller. And he's trying to get the description. They ain't buying it. This is all before body cameras and all that shit. Another reason could say, it's another reason why we have body cameras nowadays. There's a Christmas tree in the background behind Michael Lerner. So, all that. Another thing I noticed though too, like, I think I can see why that number is not accurate. Like, I notice sometimes I'm like watching people's content and shit's popping up in other languages, so probably something wrong with this fucking phone, man. It's supposed to be brand new. Fucking refurbished trash. Oh, fucking Androids. Samsung A16 trash. Better assembly. The look of Robert Davi's wardrobe, he's wearing like just a black dress shirt, suspenders with light blue jeans. But that's how people dress back then. Though. Like, I could never wear like a tucked in dress shirt with jeans, especially suspenders. But that's how people dressed back then, man. Even all through the 80s, definitely 90s wardrobes. Women with like turtleneck sweaters and shoulder pads and pants up to their tits and shit. Ugly sweaters and scarves and the high volume puffed out hair and shit. High top sneaker. I'll do anything to go back to these times, though. I think a lot of you guys could probably agree with me. What are you gonna say? All right, so yeah, the cab driver is picking up Teresa, Jack Forrest's partner. She's really like the last one to rely on besides, McKinney. Well, it's McKinney and Teresa, really. It's going to be left up to them to take on the Maniac cop. Unless the other, well, that's, yeah, I don't want to spoil anything yet. But there is a scene in this that plays out very similar to how things play out in like the original Terminator. When the Terminator shows up at the precinct and just starts fucking shit up. Like, there's like a scene like that in this. And I mean, both movies do their own thing. I wouldn't say that this rips off Terminator in any way. Now, I know the guy, the cab driver right now. I know he's also in William Lustig's 1983 movie, Vigilante. Very good one with Robert Forster. But, I would assume that this is probably like, one of William Lustig's go-to reoccurring actors that he could rely on. Probably just someone that just doesn't have to explain very much. Though probably just they both just probably just have that chemistry where they understand each other and stuff. But also have Fred Williamson in that Vigilante. That's such a good fucking revenge thriller right there. I know I did a watch party for that one on my old channel a while ago. Sure, at some point we'll do another rewatch for that. All right, yeah, some action's about to kick off here. So the taxi driver's got a flat tire. Teresa is a little suspicious of that. Yeah, she's a little suspicious of that. And she's also a little weary of other cops that she's not familiar with. So she jumps in the cab as the cab driver's trying to get the jack out of the trunk. She takes off with the cab. So it's just her and the psychiatrist, and a police car mows down the taxi driver. Just fucking kills that dude with the car. But, you know, Teresa going with her gut here, which turns out to be the right thing. It's Maniac Cop. Maniac Cop is trying to kill her. But at least Teresa has a witness now. So yeah, that tire's just running on the rim now, sparking all over the place. Good action here, man. Really is good. Greatly executed here. So yeah, we got, you know, the Maniac Cop and his little hidden cruiser there just slamming up against that taxi. Get some good drift action in this too, man. Especially for being in small side streets in New York City, man. Side swiping the parked cars. Bam! A lot of fucking appropriate sparks too, man. Good stuff. They don't make them like this anymore. Oh, man, so close to driving into that bodega. They're driving on the sidewalks right now. Hitting all the fucking random trash cans and stuff. Oh no. Random parked car got in the way. Now the taxi's come to a stop. Teresa's out of the car with her 38 snub now. And yeah, the police cars crashed too, but of course, there's no one in the driver's seat. Maniac Cop has gotten out of there in time, realizes he had to botch that mission. Oh no, Maniac Cop comes up behind her. Psychiatrist still in the car. Maniac Cop throws Teresa through the store window right there. Holy shit. Now he's trying to go after the psychiatrist. Teresa's trying to get up, man. Kind of forget this scene right now. Oh, right. It's where Teresa, yeah, so the window she went through happened to be a hardware store. So now she's pulling a chainsaw out of the hardware store. A Maniac Cop is going to cuff the psychiatrist here to a random parked car. She's being cuffed to the steering wheel. He's putting that thing in neutral and just rolling it down the hill. But yeah, she's going to go up against the Maniac Cop now with a chainsaw. He just grabs that thing with his bare hand. Obviously, Maniac Cop is not human. You know, it's like Jason Voorhees, the final chapter, you know, like that. Oh, I think Teresa just got her neck broke. Maybe that. I'll try to confirm that in a moment. As soon as we get back to that scene, because right now the psychiatrist is trying to, you know, she's hanging on she's hanging on to the car as she got no choice because she's cuffed to the steering wheel. But man, the action just keeps kicking. You know, they even do a good job at like disguising the stuntmen in this, making them look as accurate to the characters as possible. Yeah, costume design in this I think is done very well. Damn. Yeah, obviously that stunt driver's got like shin pads on, so his legs are literally not going to get, road burned. And yeah, so she finally is able to crawl back into the car through the window, the driver's door window there, and finally get control on the car. I don't know why she hasn't hit the brake yet, though. But yeah, she crashes into like an industrial loading dock there, and car finally comes to a stop. She managed to survive through that. I think Teresa just got killed though, like moments before. I think Maniac cop snapped her neck. And now, yeah, now the real police are showing up. Well, now, the psychiatrist is going through it. She's finally had a moment with the Maniac cop. So now she knows where Jack and Teresa are coming from, but they've been silenced. So now it's going to be left up to her. But who's going to believe her, right? So now McKinney is showing up. He's showing up in the ambulance as they got her in there. I forget her name already. The psychiatrist. Oh, she's explaining to McKinney. She's like, I saw him. She's like, I saw Matt Cordell. Oh, that's right. His name's Sean McKinney. Like criminals at large goes after a serial killer who's claimed the lives of beautiful girls everywhere, working as exotic dancers and strippers in New York City. Welcome to Club 69. What an original name, right? Yeah. Yeah, we insert Leo Rossi as the fucking sick, demented serial killer in this. I think most of you guys probably a little bit more familiar with Leo Rossi and like Halloween too. You know, he's also in that movie that I mentioned earlier, Relentless, another William Lustig crime thriller. But I know he's also in that. I think he actually plays one of the good guys in that. I think he's like one of the cops or detectives in that. So now, yeah, Michael Lerner as the commissioner, Officer Riley. That's right. That's her name. The psychiatrist. The one to help these cops through traumatic situations and PTSD and all that stuff. Yeah, rest of the police force doesn't want to admit to the fact that Matt Cordell could still be a living entity. They chalk it up to, he's either dead or in prison. Like, what? You can't con Edison. That same actor, I don't know his name. I know he's been in like the Rambo movies, and he's also one of the cops that gets his face chewed off in Silence of the Lambs. Oh, so now the commissioner is super pissed at Riley here for speaking the truth about what happened with, Teresa. Everything with Matt Cordell as the Maniac cop. Yeah, so Michael Lerner, the commissioner, you can kind of get the vibe there that he knows what's going on, but he doesn't want to admit to it. Back to Club 69. Machi Machi. Open 24 hours, Club 69. Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. This dancer comes on stage here, Cheryl, and this catches the eye of the serial killer. He looked like he was like down and out, not really having a good time in Close 69 until Cheryl came on the stage here. Come on, guys, be generous. Spread out that cash. I don't know. I never really cared for strip clubs. I'd rather actually like be with a woman than sitting there watching a woman like dance around that isn't mine or anything I can do anything with. But I remember I used to have a scaffolding job and I used to work for this guy, man, every day after fucking work. I'd be like, dude, can you just like drop me off at the bus stop? Like, dude, like, just we're gonna go to the strip club for a couple drinks. I'll pay for your drinks. Like, don't worry about it. Blah. I'm like, man, like, dude, I'm not gonna get home till like 8 o'clock at night because you never want to leave this shit, man. And like, got dancers coming up to you, trying to talk you into giving it, getting your money out your pocket. They always do a good job of getting your money out your pocket and everything, but I don't know. I just never been a strip club person, man. Just don't really care for it. Yes, the women are enticing and beautiful looking, but still, give a fuck, man. So now this is, yeah, the night's over, and yeah, this dancer Cheryl, she's back at her apartment. But yeah, somebody at that club didn't get everything that they paid for, I guess. Looks like the same kind of like apartments and rooms from the movie Frankenhooker. Just like the same time period too. Like I think Frankenhooker is from 1990, I think 90, 91, something like that. Such a fun movie that is. That's who directed that? Frankenhooker. Frank Henenlotter, basket case director. That's right. Frankenhooker is such a fucking fun movie. Got hookers blowing up in that movie because they're like they discovered this super crack and they're smoking it and their fucking bodies are blowing up and the guy's taking the body parts to rebuild his girlfriend and shit. Modern take on the Frankenstein story. Yeah, and then some like modern drug use too from that time period. So yeah, someone's trying to get in through Cheryl's door now. She's trying to call the police. Finally the door stops making noise. Handle's not rattling anymore. What's she got a trophy for shaking her shit on stage or something? She's about to bash this trophy into someone's head. This is what she's using as a weapon. Yeah, jumping through the window. I feel like John fucking Wayne. Woohoo! Leo Rossi, yeah, very intense actor in this, man. She's pleading for her life here, saying, I called the police. I don't give a fuck about no police. I see you dancing on. He's like, I see you dancing on stage. You're shaking your shit. And I say, you know what? She's mine. You trying to do some dirt to me, baby? You're the prettiest one in my collection so far. Yeah, you a Broadway whore, baby. I wonder how much of this is going off a script here. How much of this is like improv? Because to remember all those lines, imagine having to be like cut, got to clean up all this broken glass, install a new one. I can't imagine that they had to shoot this many times, but with that, I would imagine that Leo Rossi probably went off script there. But yeah, Maniac Cop shows up, and the real police show up. Maniac Cop just throwing the fucking real cops around. Manages to team up here with the serial killer, helps him out, and they both get out of there. And Cheryl escapes with her life somehow. Not yeah, this is really how the serial killer and the Maniac Cop, how they kind of team up, man. He's like, "Oh man, you ain't no cop. Who are you, man? Who the hell are you?" Oh, you're the one on the headlines, the one on TV, the one that they keep talking about, huh? Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he hasn't taken like one look at Cordell's face and like realized, like, yo, you're not even alive, are you, man? Like, yo, he says to the Maniac Cop here, hey, you can come back to my place. Now, I ain't queer or nothing, but I'm just saying, you can come back to my place. I'm a crusader against the horse of the world. That's right. That's his name, Turkel. Yeah, Leo Rossi's name, the serial killer's name's Turkel. So yeah, you got Turkel and Cordell. We finally got his attention. Cordell turns around, looked at him. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry if I offended you." And look at his little half-ass shrine to get back to Turkel's place here. Got this ghetto-ass shrine of these like dancers, these hookers, like on his wall, like in the shape of like a cross with like candles all around it. I think he even has like a hamster in a cage. It's like kind of weird, like front display. Like yeah, so yeah, Turkel's really just trying to understand why, Cordell the Maniac Cop is on this path of killing anyone, breaking justice, breaking the law and everything. He's like, all right, so you hate cops, so you've decided to make a mockery out of them. That's right, right? No, no, that isn't it. He's like, yeah, so he hasn't gotten one word out at the Maniac Cop yet. So he's going to get a pen and paper. But I think this is where he's going to talk now. He's like, "Yeah." He's like, oh shit, I finally got him to talk. Yeah. Yeah, so now he knows what's her name? Damn it. Riley. Riley, when she went on TV for that interview and she mentioned Matt Cordell's name. So that's why Turkel, he heard that. He watched that segment. And that got the bells ringing for him. And we got Shamarlos is here. What's up there, Scott? Hey, how's it going? Happy holidays, bro. All right, Scott's chowing down on sandwiches tonight. Yeah, good to see you doing good there. Thank you as usual for supporting the channel. I know we haven't had a stream here in a couple weeks, but But yeah, we're getting things going and all that. With the unofficial Christmas movie that we're watching here tonight with Maniac Cop 2, based on Christmas decorations. So yeah, can't wait for Christmas. Watching Vamp in Las Vegas. I know I've seen Vamp, the movie Vamp, but I don't think I've even heard of Vamp in Las Vegas. Maniac Cop 2, spectacular, right? It is a lot of fun though, really. This movie's just I don't think there's a dull moment in this, honestly. It just keeps raising the bar, raising the stakes. Matt Cordell's pulling out his little mini blade here, nightstick blade. Yeah, so yeah, him and Turkel are comparing weapons and all this here. That is a real interesting blade though that Turkel has. Yeah, I haven't seen that's like another reason why I was like, oh, it's 35 years old. Nothing else better to do tonight. Gonna be snowed in tomorrow. Why don't we do a stream? Why don't we do a watch party for Maniac Cop 2? But yeah, it's been a little while since I've seen it myself. Maniac Cop 2, yeah, Maniac Cop was killing everyone. I almost feel like it's a concept that can be like a little hard to sell at first, but you see the elements and everything that they're able to come up with between Larry Cohen and William Lustig. They really just make this absurd concept work. So now we're getting the flashback of when Maniac Cop was actually Matt Cordell. And, he was convicted of some crimes and sent to prison. And when he was in prison, he ended up like getting shanked in the showers and everything. But I think really what made this scene play out, this situation, is the fact that, these inmates realize, a cop is in here with us. And we gotta make a hit on this guy. This is a cop here, we can't be fucking sharing sharing meals and shit with a fucking cop. We can't be having a fucking cop in here with us. We gotta take care of this motherfucker. I love how the shower's got like no lights in it. It's like, why you guys take showers in the dark? But I think that really is to have dark shadows on some nudity in the scene, I guess you could say. That's probably why. Who knows? I don't know. I guess they don't want fucking swinging dicks and balls fucking going in the scene. I don't know. Yeah, Scott, I'm right at that scene right now. The flashback to Matt Cordell's prison sentence. Right, Matt Cordell was a silence cop, but he spoke that one time to Turkel, and he was trying to get something out of him, and he's like, "Oh, I'll get you a pen and paper. You write your name down on it." And he's like, "Cordell." So yeah, Cordell was shanked up in the prison, and I think he was, deemed as dead, deceased. Obviously, he wasn't though. Supernatural powers brought him back. I guess he was drinking the same Kool-Aid that Jason Voorhees was drinking. The man we believe killing strippers in Brooklyn is the same man that yeah, right. Yeah, right. This guy can just make it from one side of New York to the other, just killing fucking strippers and police officers. Like, get the fuck out of here. But McKinney and some of these other half-ass cops are trying to make sense of all this. All right, so yeah, so now they're talking to Cheryl, the girl that was attacked by Turkel, and ultimately, when the cops showed up, and then Cordell showed up and killed those other cops. So, Riley actually has a witness here with Cheryl to confirm that, a disfigured cop was seen or at the scene when Cheryl was attacked by the serial killer. But finally, you can see that, Officer McKinney definitely has some respect now for Riley. He knows that she's been through some traumatic shit and, not just him. So now they're on this like relatable level. And I think that's what's really going to make their friendly police relationship kind of grow and have each other's backs. But I'll be right back. I gotta walk out of the room here for a minute. Well, someplace I can't go, huh? Got work to do. It's coming back, right? I got things to do myself. But then I'll be back here waiting for you. All right, sorry about that. All right, we're back at the strip club now. Our time stamp right now. All right, we are at 57 minutes, 25 seconds is where I'm at. So we got not too much longer to go in this. Got about just a little bit more than a half hour to go in this, so I'm sure it'll breeze by. So now, yeah, everyone from that precinct that's working on this case, including Riley and McKinney, they're actually at the nightclub now because what their experience and how everything plays out with that, which I believe they're right too. They think that the serial killer is going to show up here again, and Cheryl is going to be able to point him out. And that's what happens. Yes, Turkel gets pointed out here. He knows he's got to get the fuck out of there now. Oh, they got him. Yeah, so yeah, Turkel's been apprehended now. He's thrown in the general population here. I want to see my lawyer. Oh, that's one thing that Turkel's dedicated to. Because really, I mean, they should be, somewhat interested in the fact that this guy is a serial killer. He's been killing, strippers and everything, nightclub dancers, but they're really not that interested. They know he's kind of teamed up with Matt Cordell and they're trying to get that info out of him. But Turkel is dedicated to being silent about that. He will not rat out his maniac cop friend. And we got 59 is here. 59 Survivor, the VHS. Cheers, CWO. Busy night just got in at the remote outpost. Also, Dogman Live just started. I need to be in two places at once. Yeah, there's only a half hour left here on this stream, but I know you were saying that you haven't seen this before. 59. Maybe someday I'll figure out your real name. But dude, telling you, dude, you got to see the first two Maniac Cop movies. Watch these movies, man. Technically an unofficial Christmas movie, just based on the Christmas decorations that you see in the atmosphere and settings throughout this movie. But dude, give this movie a watch. Do yourself a service. Do yourself a favor here, man. This is a great action horror movie here. You see that one cop. It's got to be. Oh yeah, I think this is like one of Larry Cohen's like brothers or cousins or something. Guy who shows up in all Larry Cohen's movies, like he's like in the stuff, even the It's Alive movies and shit. Oh yeah, the films of Larry Cohen, man. What a bizarre filmmaker. But one movie of Larry Cohen's that I just cannot give any praise to is that fucking Salem's Lot sequel, A Return to Salem's Lot. What a disaster that movie is. Oh man, I know I got that thing in my collection over here somewhere. Fuck is I don't know, maybe I took it off the shelf here, but oh, here it is. Yeah, it's another thing is too, like I feel like, because like the artwork is so similar to like the original, like you really feel like you're going to be getting some kind of continuation of the original story. And it just ugh. Well, yeah, that's Return to Salem's Lot. What a fucking disaster this movie is. No, cannot recommend that shit. Oh man. Oh, there goes, insert Clarence Williams the third. That's right. He's one of the prisoners in this. But yeah, 59 saying I shall return, broski. Yeah, man, take your time, though. Uh, yeah, we've got about a half hour left on this stream, and I'll be out of here. But whatever floats your boat, man. Choice is yours. It's all good, man. It's the weekend. Enjoy yourself. Look at this shit fucking Leo Rossi's wearing right now. That orange leather coat, those ugly brown leather shoes, and light blue fucking khaki pants. Oh my god. But, Turkel's gonna be getting on all these other inmates' good side. He's gonna manage to have these guys kind of be with him and have his back, and he's gonna use that to his advantage. And I won't say much else beyond that. So I don't want to spoil too much until we get through every, scene for scene. But yeah, anyone who might be watching this, you haven't seen these movies yet, do yourself a favor. Watch the Maniac Cop movies. Maybe not part three. Watch the first two, man. They're fun. This is where the police are having target practice now. They're at the range, the shooting range, having target practice. And I think, yeah, that's right. Cordell shows up here. That's right. Yeah, Maniac Cop to start shooting the cops that are having target practice here. And he has like this kind of like semi-automatic fucking pistol in his hand. Very unique, kind of like Mac 10 type of fucking gun in his hand. Or well, he shows up with a regular service pistol. And then he exchanges that here for this little like Mac 10 pistol that he has. And this is where he's gonna wreak havoc on the fucking precinct, man. He's gonna get some sweet, sweet revenge. This is the scene that I'm referring to. That's kind of like like happens in the original Terminator. When the Terminator shows up and like kills Lance Hendrickson and all these other police officers. Now you can actually get a good look at Cordell's face for once, with all his scars and his skeletal type sunken in rotted features. And yeah, he just kicks in the front door, actually has a Christmas wreath stuck on his head for a second there, shakes that off. Man, he's just walking through doors. He doesn't even bother kicking the doors. He just walks right through them. Oh, he's blowing everyone away. Talk about no shortage on the blood splatter, too, man. I think Quentin Tarantino would be proud of this scene. Oh, yeah, grips up the main fucking sergeant here. Throws him through fucking everything. Oh, my God. He's even going through wood structures and everything, too. So now, yeah, Cordell's made his way. The general population's going to go save his buddy Turkel. It must be visiting hours because my friend is back. I find it a bit weird that they give Turkel this kind of like Southern accent. It's in New York. It's like, why does he have this kind of Southern accent going on? I don't know. Maybe it's just sounds better with delivering the lines, but he should have that, hey, I'm walking here kind of, accent going on. All right, so yeah, Stacy saying best 2000s action movie. Fuck. Hmm. I might have to honestly, I might have to cheat a little bit and use the tablet here because God damn, I can't get clear vision right now of 2000s action movie. Can't get a clear vision on it. So that's at least get the movies like a list going here so I can answer that a little bit more straightforward there. Yeah, the 2000s action movie. I wouldn't say it's cheating, but this is just going to help me answer this question a little bit more quicker. Tropic Thunder pops up. What a fucking fun movie that is. We're going to have to do a stream for that one someday. Tropic fucking Thunder. Honestly, Kill Bill, man. Oh, dude, I'll even say Kill Bill 2. It seems like a lot of people sometimes will be like, I didn't like Kill Bill 2 that much. Like, what? You fucking serious? Yeah, I gotta put Kill Bill on that fucking one. The best 2000s action movie. I gotta go Kill Bill, Stacy. I'm sorry, the 2004 Volume 1 Kill Bill. That's it. And yeah. I mean, there is like other movies popping up on here. There is, obviously. I mean, even fucking, Heath Ledger, the Joker, the Dark Knight. That's another great one that just kind of overlooked there. But I gotta go Kill Bill, man. That movie's just chef's kiss. But yeah, I gotta go Kill Bill, Stacy. I gotta go with Kill Bill on that one. But yeah, it's Dark Knight. That's got to be my runner-up, The Dark Knight. Oh yeah, I love this scene here. When they bust out of the joint in the bus, and then fucking Turkel's like, "Oh, bumper cars!" And he crashes through all the fucking police barricade. Good fire stunts here too, man. Really good fire stunts. Don't make them like this anymore. Random bystanders coming out to hear all the crazy, chaotic noise. Stacy saying if Bruce was healthier, would you like to see Kevin McAllister, John McClane team up movie? Yes, that sounds like so much fucking fun right there. Yeah, that's genius right there, Stacy. Honestly, I think that sounds so intriguing right there. Yes, give me it. Give me fucking Home Alone meets Die Hard right now. Oh God. Almost like it's like, damn, like all those years past, missed opportunity. Obviously, Bruce Willis is who he is now, dealing with the shit he's dealing with. But yeah. Oh my God, that just sounds like how could you not want to see that, right? Like, I love both movies right there too. And like God, that sounds like such fucking fun. Die Hard meets Home Alone. Turkel saying bumper cars. Shit's cracking me up. Man, Stacy saying, what are some movies that you used to watch a lot or over and over again? That's a great question. Growing up, honestly, like Return of the Jedi. I used to watch that shit religiously. Like, oh my God. Used to piss off my parents with that. Like, come on, Sean, you have a whole box of tapes. Like, can you watch something else? Like, no, I gotta see if there's someone I'm missing in Jabba's palace here. Like, Oh yeah, Return of the Jedi is definitely one, that's for sure. I mean, like the whole original Star Wars trilogy, really, but there really was something about like that whole opening of like that first like 20 or so minutes of Jabba's palace and Return of the Jedi was just so fascinating to me. I mean, like, like even like growing up and having like Star Wars toys, like sometimes I wouldn't have like the certain toys that I wanted from like the actual Kenner line, and I would like insert my GI Joes in there and stuff instead, to make up for like not having the actual toys for certain things. I know I did have a Bib Fortuna toy too, actually, which I always thought was so weird. I never knew his name till like years later. He isn't just called the guy with the snakes on his neck because of those tentacles and shit. But they all had such weird names. You had like a guy named Yak Face and stuff, and just so many bizarre characters in the background in that opening segment. But yeah, Return of the Jedi was definitely one, that's for sure. What else, man? What else I used to watch a lot? Like all the fucking time. I'm trying to like just like glance over at the one wall of movies I had to help me with that. So just to get back to the movie here real quick, like with the bus that Turkel has used to bust out of the prison, he's got Clarence Williams III, his prisoner character here, Matt Cordell's on the bus, but they kidnapped Riley, the psychiatrist cop here. And now she's finally getting a clear, good look at the maniac cop, and he doesn't like the fact that she's on the bus right now. He keeps like glancing over at her like, "You fucking cunt, I'm gonna fucking dice you up." But with some other movies I used to watch religiously like that. Actually, Return to Oz. You remember that one? Return to Oz. What's her name? Faruka Balk, her first movie as a child actress. Used to watch that all the fucking time, man. The Wheelers and that they used to fascinate me, those weirdos. And oh man, such a fucking fun movie that is Princess Mombi, the one who likes to steal beautiful heads for her museum of heads. Man, that's such a fucking fascinating Walt Disney movie right there. Even Something Wicked This Way Comes. That's another one I would watch all the time. God damn, I wish Disney would open up their fucking vault and just upgrade everything already. But yeah, Return to Oz was definitely one, man. Like, like that, because like I used to have like a giant cardboard box full of like real VHS tapes and dub stuff off the TV. But like there would be times I'd be going through that box and then like I would come across the Return to Oz tape and I'd be like, you know what? Whatever I was looking for, I don't care now. I'm gonna watch Return to Oz. But I would love to upgrade that damn grainy DVD I have of Return to Oz. I would love to have that thing in HD, along with a lot of other Walt Disney stuff. But I don't think Disney's ever gonna open up their vaults because they're just shisty like that. First time I saw Maniac Cop 2, that was a pretty wild event at the sleepover. I would say if I, just imagining, I'm sure it probably was a very intense moment, intense experience watching that for the first time with some friends at a young age. I really can't believe Fox never really made it. Yeah. Home Die Hard alone. Die or just Die Hard alone. With Kevin McAllister, this cheese pizza or whatever the fuck. So now back at the prison, the other inmates are getting the info that Maniac Cop is still alive. Of course, he's in the prison, just snaps this prison guard's neck who's not paying attention. Even got Turkel dressed up as a cop now. He's excited and thrilled. He has the captain's hat on and the jacket. But yeah, we're almost through this, so We are almost through this movie. But yeah, we get some wildfire stunts here too. So now they're trying to sweet talk the Maniac cop, hostage situation tactics and stuff, trying to talk him down a little bit, get him to, you know, come back down to a human level. Like, come on, guys. Like, you guys should know. You guys know his name. You should know he's dead. And if he's walking, you should know he is a supernatural force not to be fucked with at this point. And yeah, the only one who has any kind of respect is Turkel. But I know Maniac Cop and him are gonna have a falling out too. So I'm sorry, yeah, Stacy saying the more you watch Inherent Vice in some movies, the more they make sense. I'm glad you mentioned that one. Actually, a subscriber sent me that movie. I've only seen it one time, Inherent Vice with Joaquin Phoenix. I think that's what you're talking about. I've seen it one time, but a subscriber sent me a copy of that movie, which I'm glad that person did because I've been wanting to go back and see it again, and it's been a while since I've seen it, so I can barely remember. I just know I enjoyed it. It's like a 70s kind of like, uh, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that that is like the time period. It's like the 70s and shit. But yeah, now the maniac cop's making his way through the prison here. He's been lit up in flames. No CGI about this, man. It's a guy in a fire suit. Which is probably just the same way they've always executed, like, people lit on fire, like, throughout the '80s and shit. Even, like, when, like, Michael Myers in Part 2 is going up in flames. Plenty of movies where, Jason Voorhees is being lit up in flames. Cordell is seeing faces of the people that stabbed him up years before, and, he's getting more than what, he's asked for with getting revenge on people. He's seeing prisoners that shanked him and stuff, and the fire is not gonna stop him, right? His supernatural being is just too strong. His want for revenge. It's his thirst right there. That's what's keeping him going. Oh yeah, he's like bear hugging this dude. He gets lit up and on fire. He throws him up on the second level and shit. He's getting some nice sweet revenge on everyone that fucking shanked the shit out of him. But Turkel is like, no, man, you're killing the wrong people. You're killing the wrong people, maniac cop. Cordell grabs him and he goes up in flames. I don't think this is his demise here, though, right? Oh, they jumped through the wall. Wow, that's like a six fucking story drop out that bitch. Holy shit. Wow. Holy shit. So yeah, they dropped out of like six-story fucking prison building right there, land right through the fucking bus. And it looks like the maniac cop has finally died, and he is going to rest in peace. Yes, now we're finally at Matt Cordell's funeral now. This is the aftermath of everything. So yeah, it looks like Matt Cordell's finally gonna rest in peace. And I guess the least that, Riley and McKinney could do is, show up at the funeral, make sure that his remains are buried. So, uh, yeah, I think 59 might make it back here. But yeah, this street, well, we're going to end this one in about 5 minutes. I think we have left here. Yeah, we're going to end this in a few minutes, but just trying to stay at the 2 hour mark and all that. Another reason why I try to stay at like those marks like that, and also try to get the movie started around like 25, 30 minutes in, is just try to be considerate of people who catch the replay. And, because I'm someone who watches streams and stuff like that from time to time. And there's times where people do streams and I'm just like, you're forcing me to fast forward through shit right now. There's all this just unnecessary fucking dry time that can be through streams. And I don't think everyone does streams the way they want to and all that. But like, I just try not to have unnecessary use of time. I try not to sit here and also not talk, like that's one thing that's a pet peeve for me. I can't stand doing a stream with someone who just doesn't want to talk. So I try to utilize the time very, mindfully. And I just try to be mindful of people who catch the replay. Because that's another thing for the most part, at least nowadays, I get more people catching the replay than more people showing up while it's live. It's just how it is. But yeah, Stacy's saying something wicked this way comes. Who would you cast for a new one? Wow. Well, we need child actors in there, man. I'm not good with like newer child actors. Probably some kids from the Stranger Things movies or series. Who would play Jonathan Price though, right? The carnival leader guy. Who the fuck would play that role? Maybe Richard Jenkins? I know he's gotten up there in age. I think he could probably. Yeah, I'd take, just going off the top of my head, I would take Richard Jenkins, really. I think he could conquer that. You get him in the right, look and everything, that top hat and that suit and everything. But kids, I'm not good with like kid actors nowadays, like in new movies. But I'm gonna go Richard Jenkins to play that, that character that Jonathan Price plays. So now the camera pans down to Matt Cordell's grave. It's a slow pan shot as Officer McKinney had his badge at the funeral and threw it on top of the casket there. It was as it was put down 6 feet into the grave. It was laying on top, and then that final shot there is Maniac Cop punching through the fucking coffin and grabbing the badge, which leaves room for the third movie. So yeah, that is Maniac Cop at 35 years old today. Movie that has definitely aged very well for a movie from the 90s. And another thing I want to mention with that, for someone like me who focuses on anniversaries, for me, I try to focus on them on every 5 years. Focus on, I think if you focus on anniversaries every year, I mean, you can do anything you want. I just think, me personally, if I focused on an anniversary like every year, it'd be like, come on, it's a little much here, right? But no, I try to focus on anniversaries every 5 years. To me, that's the most significance with meaning of anniversaries. But just going through like this past year and all that, I just realized there's a lot of good movies from 1990 that I went through this year that are at the 35th anniversary of 35 years old. It just made me really realize, like, damn, man, a lot of fucking good movies from 1990, obviously 80, 85 movies that are 40, 45 years old. And even on top of that, what, Monday we got one from 1995 with Heat. That'll be the next stream. On the 29th, one of my favorite sci-fi, action films of all time, or I should say sci-fi thrillers, really, with 12 Monkeys. We'll be watching 12 Monkeys. That'll be 30 years old. Another one from 1995. But yeah, just it's another reason why I like to focus on anniversaries every 5 years. It's the most significant to me. It just can really just make you remember and realize how many classic films from these time periods that you just grew up with and can be very significant and had an impact on you, you know? It just yeah. I mean, like, I even remember, like, like, when earlier in the year, like, when this year started, 2025 in January, made me realize, like, right off the bat, I was like, "Fuck," you know, like, Tremors. But you guys remember Tremors with, Fred Ward and, Kevin Bacon. It's another one from 1990. That was back in January, though. It was, like, right off the bat, it was like, "Fuck, man." I remember how meaningful and how impactful Tremors was, you know, for me. And, you know, Tremors 2, Aftershock, something like that. Fun movie for what it is. Not the best, but, you know, still a fun sequel. And then I think the Sci-Fi Network kinda took over with the rest of those sequels and made it absolutely fucking unwatchable and ridiculous. But, yeah, I can't go anywhere beyond, Tremors 2 Aftershock. So just to, you know, reflect on something, mention something from 1990. But yeah, just, you know, this year has really just made me realize that, you know, a lot of movies from this year, 1990, it's just there was a lot of them this year, and a lot of them that still have a lot of meaning to me. A lot of them I still like to rewatch and get a lot of enjoyment out of. But oh yeah, this movie was dedicated to the memory of Joe Spinell, the Maniac. That's there in the credits there as I'm watching this. But yeah, that's cool to see that, you know, William Lustig honored him. You know, obviously we lost him a bit too early. And I think if we didn't lose Joe Spinell at such an era, or well, I don't know what his age was. It was definitely too young. But, you know, just imagine what movies Joe Spinell could have popped up in if he was still, you know, with us and didn't pass away when he did. But yeah, that's gonna do it here for tonight. So yeah, next stream will be Monday night. We'll be watching Michael Mann's 1995 film Heat. Yeah, you know, the action classic movie will be at 30 years old on Monday night. So yeah, if you guys ain't doing anything, I might have to adjust the time on that. I think it's probably at 10 o'clock right now, but that is a 3-hour movie. So I might have to get that one started about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time just because of that 3-hour runtime. So all I can say is just, you know, keep an eye on my channel, I guess, community posts and all that stuff. And I will keep you guys updated on when all that stuff is put into place and more accurate. But yeah, thank you all very much for joining me here tonight for 35 years of Maniac Cop 2. Take care, be safe, happy holidays, and I'll see you all in the next one, everyone.